Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Hello Again with Isabelle Broom. So called, obviously, because of this. Nice little way to promote the book there. I'm joined today by my friend and wonderful author, Lisa Dickenson, who writes funny, fresh, romantic, escapist, brilliant books that make you laugh. And she is just a fabulous person. And I wanted her to come on and chat to us all about what she's been up to in lockdown, her book that's coming out, and her amazing dog Cody, who, well, you're about to find out. Hi Lisa, thanks for coming to join me.
Well, hello again, Isabelle Broom. How are you?
I'm good. I'm wearing a top with dogs on, and doesn't get much better than that, I don't think.
It doesn't. You're looking amazing. How are you today?
I'm good. I did just tell you I've got a bit of helmet hair, but
I love it.
I mean, what did I say it was? I said a rude word, but a poor woman's Anna Winter, this hair.
I love it. It makes me want to reach through the computer and stroke it.
Look at that.
It's great.
That's great. Pure pro.
I feel like I'm in the Vogue offices, like lost in the Vogue offices, obviously, looking for the toilet.
Fashion. Anyway,
do
you want to start by telling everybody a little bit about who you are and the sort of books that you write and where you're based and the hard sell. Give us the hard sell.
My gosh, it's like I'm on a job interview, but I kind of like it. Okay, well, hi everybody. Thank you very much, Izzy, for having me. I am Lisa Dickenson. I also write under Lucy Dickens and Isla Gordon, so I've got like 3 names that I write under, and they're all slightly different types of books. So my Lisa Dickenson books are kind of more on the comedy side of romantic comedies. They're quite light and fun. They've sometimes got a bit of a feminist angle to them. My Isla Gordon books are slightly more on the romantic side of romantic comedies. They are slightly softer, but also with some quite strong emotional stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And then Lucy Dickens, which is my look what I've got.
Excellent.
Lucy Dickens is what my new book is under, and that's very much Lucy writes very much kind of vacation, escapist armchair adventure kind of fiction, very much destination based.
Amazing.
So there we go. I am in Devon. Yeah, I'm in Devon. My husband and my absolute ginormous Bernese mountain dog called Cody Bear, who I love so much, and I tell him that all the time throughout the day. And that's about it about me, really. I only became a full-time author at the beginning of this year, so that was really, really exciting, and I'm getting lots of fun author things done. I feel like I've been really involved a lot more than I could have been before, and it's all really exciting. I met you in person, Isabelle. It's been too long.
I know, it has been too long. I remember meeting you for the first time. It was the launch of My Map of You, wasn't it? The first time we probably and there was high-pitched squealing and cuddles, and
much.
It was a mad night, but it was so sweet of you to come all that way.
Oh gosh, anytime. I came to one of your launches once and I licked your face, and I don't remember why.
Happens a lot to me, mostly for the dogs, I must be honest. You probably had a bit of my dog saliva on you afterwards.
Excellent. That was the
aim. Taking this sort of step into being a full-time author is quite daunting, isn't it? Because I worked at Heat full-time throughout sort of writing my first 4.5 to 5 novels. And I kind of got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and wrote for 2 hours and then went to work and just lived my life around the writing. But when I left, I found it quite hard at first to sort of give myself permission to write, almost, because it still felt, even though it's a job, it feels like an indulgence. And actually lockdown's been great for me for having time to do stuff like this and to get my website fixed and refreshed and actually think, this is my job, I need to take this seriously. But I think a lot of authors struggle with that, getting their head around the fact that it is a full-time gig and that you have to put the hours in, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. Something that I found quite difficult is I sometimes feel like I'm being a bit of a lazybones and not doing anything because I might be staring into space for weeks on end. But it's, like you say, giving yourself that permission that it is plotting time. You are thinking through scenes, you're building your characters in your head, you're kind of getting all the pieces of the puzzle sorted out before you can necessarily put words to the page. Or maybe you've taken a break and you're, you know, thinking through some scenes like midway through writing, but it's nice having that time to feel you can do that rather than have all the noise from the day job.
I always say to people, it's like when you make really good coffee, you don't just throw the grounds in and then chuck the water on and push the plunger down, because it would taste like, you know, pond water. You have to let the granules percolate. And that's the same with ideas. You know, you put them in there and you furiously write a synopsis and all these ideas and character outlines, and then you just have to let it settle into your head and wait for those sort of bright sparks of inspiration to sort of pop out.
Yeah, for sure. It's so wise.
Coffee.
Talking about lockdown, so you had quite an interesting thing, didn't you, at the beginning of lockdown, because you were on a research trip in New Zealand, and you had a bit of... I'd
like to say it was a research trip. It was actually just a holiday. It was my 40th birthday gift to myself.
Fab.
Everybody kept asking me what I wanted for my 40th, and I said I just want to go back to New Zealand, because I'd obviously been for a month, a year and a half before that, to research One Winter Morning, and I'd missed it. I missed it like I miss a friend every single day that I wasn't there, and that's why I went back. And it was early March that I flew out, and COVID, while it was a thing, it wasn't, the threat of it didn't seem as bad as it ended up being sort of 3 weeks later. So off I went, and I was lucky actually, because I had 3.5 weeks planned in, and I got to the end of that before my flight was cancelled. So I got to do everything I wanted to do, and then I just sort of had 6 days tapped on the end where I was in slightly more scary situation. But it's never really scary in New Zealand, because it's probably the nicest, most relaxed, most wonderful place in the world. So
absolutely,
I wasn't frightened. I just wanted to go home. I've never wanted to go home so much, and I think if that trip taught me anything, it was, this is my home. Because I often think maybe I should move to Greece, or maybe I should, you know, but I was like, no, I want to go home and be with my family. So excuse me, coughing.
I mean, don't cry, it's okay.
But it was an experience going through, because I travelled back through Miami and Los Angeles from New Zealand, and just having that transit and going through those airports when everything was shut and everybody was not really knowing how to behave, and all the hostesses on the plane and things were wearing masks. And it was weird. It was definitely strange. And I remember thinking, God, this is history in the making now. This is something I'll be able to talk about in 10 years' time. Like, where were you during COVID? You know, what happened? What was your experience? And it's been pretty mundane since then, to be honest. Since then, lines outside Tesco car park. Walk the dogs a lot more. That's great.
Have your dogs loved having you around?
Yes. We'll get to the dogs later, but we're going to talk more about this first.
Okay.
So talk us through some of the settings that you've taken your readers on, because I mean, they're amazing. You don't do Bognor, do you?
Thank you. I mean, I love writing books based in different countries. I just love it. I think it can paint such a picture, and especially at the moment when there is such a focus on like armchair travel and things, I think it's really brought into the forefront how much I love writing about destinations and being able to transport people to different places around the world. I have got a couple of books that are based in the UK, so it's quite nice having a bit of a mixture, but I do love writing, like you do, books in beautiful other countries. So where should we start? Let's start with You Have Me at Merlot.
Love that,
because that was my first book set abroad, and that was set in Italy, so in Tuscany.
And wine tasting, learning, preparing holiday ever since I read that, and I still have it. A good-looking man just wafting about the place. Brilliant.
So that was really fun to write. I had to do lots of research and drink wine, obviously. So that was great. That was all set in a very sunny, kind of summery Tuscan vineyard. Then we have Catch Me If You Can. That's set in the south of France.
Another pun in a title.
I do like a pun.
You actually did there. Very good.
And so that's set in the south of France. It's about two girls who tell a few white lies to be able to go and live at large during the Cannes Film Festival. So that was fun. I remember getting the idea for that one when I was in Cannes, and I was slurping on some cheap rosé from a nearby supermarket just on the roof garden thing of the hotel, and I was like, imagine being here during the film festival. I bet that's fun. But I wonder how fun it is if you're not involved, and I wonder how hard it is to get involved. And then, well, what if you could just sneak your way in? So that's where that one came from. Then we've got A Season in the Snow that is set in Switzerland. And that was really, really fun to research. So I wrote the first draft, and then I went over there between the first and the second draft, and that worked really well because then I got to fill in loads of details. And that was beautiful. It's all set in snowy mountain village called Murren, and I mean it's all based around a big Bernese mountain dog. It's kind of fan fiction about and then my latest one is The Broken Heart's Honeymoon, and that's set in Japan.
I don't think I've ever read a women's fiction or romantic fiction set in Japan.
There aren't many out there, and the idea was for it to come out to coincide with the Olympics, which obviously hasn't happened, but never mind. It's not like the book is about the Olympics. It was just that was kind of the idea of where the destination came from.
Japan fever.
And that was so fun. So that one was so fun to write as well. Just exploring all around the different areas of Japan. It's such a varied country. You've got snowy mountains, you've got the Japanese Alps down to tropical islands down in the south, which are super warm, and then you've got the big bustly cities with all the neon lights and the busyness, and then all the really peaceful, serene temples and shrines and Zen gardens. So it was really this beautiful, varied country.
Peace for the senses over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was also made it quite fun and interesting to write about. I mean, you must have had this as well when you were writing Hello Again, because that's set in several different places. So it was quite different settings. It kept the story really fresh. I loved reading that book, and you were in Portugal and Barcelona and Hamburg, and it's Guernsey, isn't it? The last Guernsey. And it just makes it made it so interesting to read. And did it make it really interesting to write as well?
It did. I've had a lot of comments actually coming back about Germany, because I think it's a bit of an untapped resource in terms of you wouldn't necessarily be like, where shall I go on my amazing holiday this year? I'll go to Hamburg in Germany. It's not like, no offense to Hamburg, it's not the top of anyone's list, but I absolutely loved it there. It's such an amazing city, and it's got a real identity to it, I think, that I really, really liked. And I actually went there before I wrote about it and wanted to write about it after I'd been. And I think that has happened to me quite a lot. If a place has a big effect on me, like Guernsey did as well, it makes me want to write about it. And I think, well, how can I engineer a story to include these sort of places?
Definitely. Which do you think was your favourite destination to write about? First of all, in Hello Again, but also in general, because you've done lots and lots of fiction set in different countries.
What was my favourite? It's a good question. I loved writing about all of them for different reasons, but I think they all had their sort of strengths. Obviously, Zakynthos for my first novel, because I used to live there, and it means a lot to me. That place has got a sort of affinity, and it's hilarious writing about Greek people because they are hilarious. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed sort of telling my it was a sort of a love story to the island, really, that book. And something that I had to write, I suppose. But then I really, really loved Sri Lanka. I loved writing about monkeys and mountains and rattly trains and crazy tuk-tuks, and there's so much colour and vibrancy, and the challenge is how you get that sort of feeling and atmosphere onto the page. And that's what I love about escapist fiction is you have an experience, but how do you share that experience with your readers? without it sounding like a travel brochure or a travel guide. You know, you're not just telling people where to go, you're telling them how it feels and how it smells, and you know, the sort of chaos, the good and the bad, I suppose.
Yeah, I love thinking about the five senses when you're trying to describe a place. So like you say, it doesn't just sound like a travel brochure. So I tend to make notes on each destination of, like you said, how does it sound when you're walking around? What does it smell like? What does that plant smell like? Or what does the air smell like? What does it taste like?
You do have to go to these places before, or you know, I'm having a bit of trouble at the moment because I'm writing a book set in a place that I haven't been, and it's quite hard to imagine it. But I'm encouraged by the fact that you did your Switzerland one in a half and half, because that's what I'm doing with mine, as I'm waiting for Croatia to open up to British travellers, and then I'll be off on the first flight over there. So
I found it worked really well, actually, because it made that my draft one, it meant that I focused a lot more on the like the character development and the story and the UK side of things. And so I handed it in, and I'd told my editor, I kind of given the caveat that, you know, there will be a lot more kind of Swiss details once I've been. But it did kind of make me separate it into two things, so that I wasn't getting too overwhelmed with the details of the place when I hadn't actually got the bare bones of the story down.
Yeah, and naturally you do get distracted sometimes, don't you? Because you go there and you think, I really want to include all these amazing places, but sometimes the plot just doesn't match the location, and then you end up with random scenes that make no sense. Like, I really wanted to mention this restaurant.
And then I found with them,
and then you can't. You're just like, you have to take them out for dinner again.
I found
so many dinners you could write in a book.
I found going there in the middle also meant that I did still get ideas for extra scenes when I was out there, but it was a lot more, I could think, oh, well, I now know that, you know, her friends come and visit her out there. So, you know, while I'm hurtling down this mountain on a wooden sled, maybe that'd be quite a fun thing for her friends to do. Whereas if I'd gone there to begin with, I maybe wouldn't have known they were going to do that. They were going to have that visit at that point. So it worked well. So I'm sure you did a brilliant job.
Our locations are like an extra character, aren't they, in the end?
Yeah.
So you have to sort of consider the impact that they have on your protagonists. And I always think place affects people in different ways. And I think when you go away from your normal life, when you step outside of it, it changes your perspective. It gives you time to sometimes just time alone, time that you need with all the noise gone. I've found that certainly in New Zealand. And I was sort of checking into the news a little bit, but it was such a bubble over there that I didn't, with lockdown happening, I was sort of looking at it from a very, very long distance, both physically and sort of emotionally. I just couldn't imagine it. You know, it was quite a shock to the system coming back into that. Because even though New Zealand had locked down, I still felt like I was only at the outside of it all. It was weird. But it was good.
Oh, I love New Zealand.
It was good for plotting. I just did lots of long walks around beautiful coasts and through map forests and things, and just thought about what I want to write next. And it was great. Might just do every year. Maybe not this year, but next year off next maybe. Quite a long way.
See, so it was a research trip in a way.
Brainstorm, and I could go for a walk in Suffolk. Right. I wanted to talk about dogs, of course, because I can't talk to you without talking about dogs, and actually how much fun dogs have been having in lockdown. I mean, it's just like dog Christmas every day. And I think it's really important to pull the positives out, even though there's been awful tragedy, of course. But I think the only way we can keep going and keep powering through is to focus on the sort of the benefits, like the planet having a bit of a rest, you know, swans coming back to Venice and all that kind of lovely stuff, and waking up with the dogs every day and knowing that I'm going to spend all day every day with my dogs, when before I had to leave them and go off and work. And it's just joyful, isn't it? And
it really is.
They're just every day they're like, oh my gosh, she's still here, she's not gone anywhere. I think they get sick of you, but they don't. They just fall more and more in love with you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a bit worried when I finished at the day job and started working at home full time, I got so used to coming in at the end of the day and having my dog be like, oh, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I was like, what if he doesn't feel like that anymore, because I'm just there all the time. But no, he's still lovely. He still flops about after me and his tail wags and he likes playing silly games, and it's like you say, it's a joy being around them.
How big is he now? He's
55 kilograms.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a great big bear, and yeah, he's got huge paws and a huge great nose, and he can, if he decides he wants you to move, he'll just shove you out of the way. If he decides he wants to come and sleep in the middle of the bed, then up he comes in the middle of the night. Feel like you're being murdered. But
I'm glad you said that, because I always feel like, you know, some people are very strict and their dogs live downstairs, or their dogs, you know, sleep in the kitchen, and I'm like, mine sleep in my room or on my bed, sometimes under the duvet with me.
Yeah, I think it's just, they're part of the family. I mean, our dog just rules the roost, really. I love him.
Don't give my dogs ideas. They're both in there, they're listening, they're pretending to be asleep, but really they're listening.
I expect mine is outside the door at the moment, snoozing. He likes to sleep. I'm upstairs at the moment in my writing room, and my husband's downstairs, and my husband works from home as well, and he tends to work downstairs and I work up here, and Cody likes to sleep on the landing, where he can kind of keep an eye on both of us, so if either of us move, he'll know, and he can then wander over and see what's going on.
That makes perfect sense in dog language, in dog world. I think we'd all be a lot happier if we were dogs.
Yeah. Be bliss.
I think I'm already a dog, I don't know. there's a lovely poster, I think I saw an Oliver bonus randomly, and it just says, it's got a little picture of a dog, and it just says, be the person your dog thinks you are. And I think that just, to me, what a great philosophy. You're like, just be awesome and brilliant all the time if possible. Obviously it's not possible all the time, but you know, that's how your dog sees you. You're just, you know, you're the sun and the moon and all the other things. Anyway, we've regressed massively from books. Sorry if anyone's watching and you don't like dogs. You can skip to like the last 5 minutes or so. If anyone does want to look at your dog, they should follow you on Instagram. Does Cody have his own Instagram?
He does, yeah.
It's at Lisa Wright Stuff.
Yeah, do you know what? It's easiest to go there, and then his handle is in the bio, because it's something like Cody Bear _ Bernie. So maybe just go to Lisa Wright Stuff.
There you go, everybody. This is a Zoom video, so I can't do a little ticker tape special thing, but maybe in future videos I'll work out how to do that.
Do your dogs have Instagram?
I did have one for Max, but I just kept forgetting to do it. And I think with Instagram, as I've been learning, unless you're really sort of dedicated to having your grid completely, you know, everything's got to sort of look the same and have the same sort of style and all that kind of stuff to really build those big followings. It's just another thing. I don't have time, and I like to put my dogs on my own feed, because a lot of my friends and family follow me. I don't just use it for writing. That's where I share my stuff. But I've got far more likes for my pictures of Julius when he was a puppy than I ever have for any of my book stuff. So I like to think that a lot of the people that follow me like books and dogs. So all the best people. Cats are fine too. Cats are fine. I don't like it when people say, are you a dog or a cat person? Because I think, well, that's like saying, are you a bus or a train person? Like, well, both are fine. Like, they're completely different things. All the animals. Yeah, I like giraffes and lions the same. Actually,
What is it about giraffes you like so much?
I'm obsessed with babies. Seeing giraffes for the first time, every time my friends have a baby, I'm like, can I be there when you show them a giraffe in the flesh for the first time? Because it's going to blow their mind, and I want to see their expression. Because you can't imagine a giraffe until you see it. You're just like, you're so cool. Why are you so big? Why is your neck so long, you weirdo?
Well, there's a new thing we've all learned about Isabelle Broom today, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe I should start an Instagram of just babies looking at giraffes.
Yeah, you should. It'll probably be like wildly popular.
Yeah, that could be a new sideline for me.
Yeah.
Right. I have a couple of quick fire questions that I wanted to fire at you at the end.
I'm excited. Is this like the game on Friends? Phoebe's game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. But then it's going to be much easier than that. Oh,
okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Phoebe's game. Yeah, she's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, I love Friends.
I love Friends.
But yeah, some are quick answer and some are multiple choice.
Okay.
This or this. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Paperback or Kindle?
Oh, paperback.
Ooh.
I've just got a Kindle. I've literally just bought one.
Ooh.
So and I actually really like it, but I've only read like 2 books on it so far. So
which one did you go for?
I went for the basic one that's white. Because no, it's not the paper white one. It's just white coloured. And yeah, because I decided that now I am a full-time author, and as you probably know, lots of proofs and things are getting sent around and shared.
I'm a big fan of these e-proofs.
Yeah, me too. I think it's really, really good. Yeah, and so it just made sense to get a Kindle so I can crack on and read all my author friends' books.
But you're still a paperback lover. I'm obviously a paperback lover, as you can see.
Yeah, look at your shelves. They're so beautiful.
Okay, number 2.
Yeah.
Ski holiday or beach holiday?
Did you say ski holiday?
Ski or beach?
Beach.
Beach, okay. City break or road trip?
Road trip.
Ooh, oh yes, because you went on an American road trip, is that right?
Yeah, I love a road trip. I like finding the weirdest places I can for us to stop at. And my husband's like, what are we doing in this weird place that's just full of recycled bottles hanging from the ceiling? And I'm like, it's a great stop, okay?
It is good. You see, that's the writer in you coming out. It's like finding all the unusual things and the unusual places.
Love it.
There's pictures of that on her Instagram as well, if anyone's interested. Okay, what's your dream destination? Somewhere you haven't been, money's no object, could even be the moon. Hawaii, same as me.
Let's go together.
We should go. Let's go. As soon as we win the lottery, we'll go.
Yes. As soon as we're out of the house.
We'll get a cheap flight to LA and then fly from there because it's cheaper to fly from there.
Yes, deal. Okay, cool.
Excellent. We'll get Lindsay Kelp to come with us. She loves a bit of Hawaii action.
Yes.
I know. I just want to say aloha and eat pancakes and sit on the beach. That's
yeah. Oh, me too. Look, I'm wearing my little shower gown.
Hula hulas.
Yeah.
What are they called? That's what I call them in my head.
What are these?
Yeah.
It's called a lei, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not a hula hula. That's what you wear when you hula.
Yeah. I'm going to call it hula hula from now.
Okay. What is your unusual holiday essential?
It's a good question. Oh my god, I need to answer, otherwise it's the most boring video.
You can think about it. Come back to it.
Okay, come back to that one.
Give everybody another pitch of your book that's coming out next.
Give everyone a pitch of it. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just going to hold it up as a little
Hold it up and give us the hard sell.
Okay, so this is a story which is a kind of what if situation of what if you had plans that were very organized and you had all these plans and you like knew what was going to happen, and then they all fell apart and you suddenly had to be on your own for the first time, and you decide to go on the most romantic holiday you can imagine, your honeymoon, but alone. Excellent. So you are in Japan and you are finally figuring out who you are without all of that outside noise, without everybody else's opinion, and you are traveling around and finding your true self.
Amazing. And look at that beautiful cover. So beautiful.
This is you, and you're just skipping around Japan, having a wonderful time.
That is what I do when I go on holiday. I leap around.
Yeah.
About.
Arms in the air.
And when is that coming out?
That is coming out in ebook on the 1st of July.
Really soon.
Yes, which I'm guessing is going to be in the past when this.
Yeah, so it's out now.
Yes, it's out now, an ebook, and it's out in paperback on the 23rd of July.
So very exciting.
Yes, and it is a great armchair adventure, if I do say so myself.
You should. Have you got an unusual holiday essential?
Unusual holiday essential. Well, shitloads of sun lotion, but that's not really unusual. Gosh, that's such a good question. I'm sure I've got loads of weird things that I take.
I took when I went to New Zealand, my sister bought me for Christmas. It's like an Alice band. It's about this thick.
Yeah.
But it's got Bluetooth speakers in the ears. So if you're like me and you stay in hostels and there's obviously people coming in and out and it's quite noisy and sometimes people snore, you can just put your Audible on or music or whatever and cuddle up at night and have a chat read to you and no one else can hear it.
That sounds
honestly brilliant. And on planes they're amazing as well because you can just zone out. Because I find planes really noisy. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Noise. You hear it. You can't not hear it. And the engine noise. And as soon as I hear it, that's it. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I've got 7 more hours of that.
Yeah. I'm just pulling out dog hair out of my eyeball right now. Dog hair would be probably what I take on holiday.
Yeah. You don't mean to. It finds its way in like sand.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting about your book and about holidays. And
thank you.
Superstar.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fabulous to talk to you, and congratulations on Hello Again, because it's such a beautiful read, and you guys, if you haven't read it yet, you need to buy it right now. Right now.
Here it is. It's out on the 9th of July, which is in the future. So next week.
It's so good, is it? I'm so impressed. It's just
already out on ebook though, if you want it. And it's also coming out on Audible, which is very exciting.
Oh, fabulous.
I love Audible. Because I sometimes when, I don't know about you, but when my books come out, I can't bear to read them in a physical form because I've read them 47 times during the editing. But listening to someone else read them is a joy because it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
To mine.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't make me sound a bit egotistical.
No, I totally get it. I went to watch the recording of one of mine, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, and it was just so cool to hear your words, but somebody reading them like an actress properly.
It makes them sound better somehow. I don't know.
I was there like, oh, that's a funny line.
Yeah. Oh, I wrote that. Being in Rocker is weird. That's what. It is weird. Loads. Right, let's go. Thank you for coming, and tune in next week, same time, 11 o'clock Saturday morning.
Thanks everybody, and thanks Isabelle.
Bye.